So
Oh,
then,
and then
yeah.
I've done some scrims with
Mhm.
buddies of mine. We do scrims weekly. They're like masters and they're on esports team for their colleges.
All right. And then let's say like the past 2 weeks or so, how often have you been playing the game?
Probably every day, or just about for 4 hours, I'd
Okay.
say.
That's pretty
Like that.
frequently. And then, final question is, do you have any questions for me before we begin?
I think I'm good.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Oh yeah, I said no. I think I'm good to go.
All right. Well then, yep. I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about, and we can go ahead and get started.
For the motherland.
Name's McCree.
All right. So, are you familiar with shield hopping?
Recently from watching your YouTube videos.
All
Yes.
right. So you're familiar with it now. Is this video from before or after you had seen it in my videos?
I think this was like I think I watched one before this,
Okay.
but
And then do you feel like you've started to implement shield hopping at all?
yes, a lot
Yeah.
more.
All right, sounds good. So, I'm in this situation. That'd probably just be a perfect. I don't have to go in depth if you've already watched me talk about it before. But shield hopping is gonna be beneficial for both moving forwards fast while also preserving shield. So, and that would be very useful in those situations, so that we're not just losing our entire shield while walking in here, and it also just get us into the fight sooner, right? So this would probably be a perfect opportunity when we're just pushing in aggressively to be shield hopping like that. While we're just pushing in. Probably recommend not to be trying to get aggressive when we don't have our shield. So just watch the charge on our shield and how much we have on it. And then right now we probably just want to be playing passive until we get it back online. As if we just attempt to run in at people right now, we're not going to have anything, and then they just get to shoot us for free, right? So probably not the
Yeah.
time to be getting aggressive. So we just want to be aware and pay attention to our shield health. Okay, good usage of cover there. Okay, and I also liked how he just kind of went for it through the choke. That was, besides the missing the shield hopping, and that was really good that we actually
Hmm.
just pushed through instead of just kind of sitting around. Unfortunate. That was good awareness to hear that he had hit the Ana, so we were shielding for our Ana who's low, like that. So overall, pretty solid first attack here, assuming that we actually win this. All right, well played. But I'm at, it's a 15-minute game. It's probably gonna go wrong at some point here.
Yeah.
Nice 3 picks. Make sure that when you don't have a reason to be shielding that we're not. So far a lot of what we've seen is just shield management stuff. So here, we're not really being shot at, and there's nothing that really can see us to shoot at us, and we just got 3 picks. This is probably the perfect opportunity to be recharging our shield, because currently we are at only half of it. So we want to be getting it back up while we're not in danger, and there's no reason to be holding up shield right now. So this would probably be a perfect opportunity to just drop it and let it recharge. But here we start shield hopping and we keep flickering it back up every couple of seconds, and then that just cancels the recharging, and that just means instead of recharging it, we're just getting it lower and lower here as we're pushing in. So there, and we notice how like we didn't even use it. The shield didn't take any damage at all during that entire push-in process.
Hmm.
We just stopped it from recharging.
Okay.
Okay.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Reinhardt.
Probably could go for a charge on that. By us just normal swinging on her, I would imagine this would allow her to fly away if she has fly. So oh, it actually does not have fly, but this gives her means that she's going to be able to get healed and possibly bubbled, and she can just she has the chance to fly away if she had it. So I'd probably say just pinning her would be a much more safe, efficient option here. Did they just use sleep? I can't remember. I don't know what number is Ana. So here. So Anna did just use sleep, so she doesn't have that to use on you, and you have full HP. So this would probably be a situation where just charge her out of the
And it.
sleep, right?
Okay.
And then Seer noticed how she got away, right? So us charging her out of the sleep probably would get the one shot, right? The wall's pretty close to us, so it'll just be a situation we going for that. All right. So yeah, besides that how we missed that on the Echo, there wasn't a ton there that we could have done after that point.
I was telling my team to good behind cover here.
Okay, so probably I would say this would be the moment. You're familiar with how to look behind you with your shield, yeah?
Yeah, right
Yeah.
click.
Yeah, so no, right click is how you hold up your shield. So while you're right clicking, you would hold left click, and then that will allow you to turn around while still holding your shield and look behind you, right? So this would be very, very useful in this instance because right now we don't know what the heck our team's doing, right? We don't really need to look at the McCree because we know he's in this direction. We can just lock our shield this way, look behind this, because if we notice, from his perspective, he can't shoot anyone on our team. So right now we're just taking a ton of unnecessary shield break when we're not defending a single person, right?
Okay.
So us just looking around us and paying attention to where's our team would probably prevent our shield from going down here and taking so much damage, because here it looks like it's just going to, we get it down to 477 when, we probably could have taken it down after it took like the first 200 damage or something of that sort. So just a lot of shield management stuff at the moment, it's looking like, and then a lot of that shield management is going to cause us to, when we don't have shield, we can't protect people. We don't have shield, we can't get aggressive, and we can't do stuff because then we're just going to die. So just managing our shield better is going to lead to a lot better gameplay because we'll actually be able to use it for situations that actually matter, right? If we're using shield in situations where it's not doing anything, then that means that we don't have it for when it's actually needed, and then we also don't have it for when we're trying to go in and do things.
Okay.
Draw.
Okay, again, kind of flickering it up. Make sure that we're going, whenever it's low, just unless it's emergency. So why don't we talk about some of this stuff real quick, just like the reasons why you might want to be shielding. This might be something that you saw on a video. If so, then, there's just a good reminder just to fully grasp this, because I think we're struggling with this a little bit. But before we get into that, just remember, when we don't have shield health, try to keep it down as best as you can, right? The only, like, if we're sitting at like 400 HP on our shield, the only reason why we would be putting it up is if it's kind of like an emergency situation and we need that shield, right? If someone's about to die, for example, right? If you think you need your shield to stop someone from dying, go ahead and use it. But other than that, right now we want to get it recharging so we can actually have it this fight, rather than just putting it back up again when we could have just walked into the room and then been fine. Whereas here now it's just going to end up breaking again, and then now we have to wait even longer to let it recharge. So we keep flickering it back up and not letting it recharge. So recharging is definitely something we need to work on. Now let's talk about reasons why we want to shield. And again, this might be something you've heard me say if you watch my videos, but in any case, we'll get into that. So for shielding, you have mainly like 7 different reasons why you can shield, which sounds like a lot until you actually say it, and then it sounds perfectly reasonable. So when you're shielding, you have 7 things you can block. You can block abilities. You can block ultimates. You can block when you are getting aggressive, like, for example, shield hopping in, or when you are backing out, such as shield hopping out. You can shield when you are low, when your teammates are low. Those ones are duh, right? Like, you shield when people are critical. And then finally, you can shield when there's an insane amount of spam damage coming through, and you feel like you need to, shield to let your team survive. So that would be, for example, an instance like your team is grabbed and no one's low, no one's critical, no one's, all the other boxes aren't checked because you're not blocking abilities, ultimates, or anything, but there's a high density of spam coming in, so you need to block it, right? That's another situation like that. Now, damage that you do not, or things that you do not need to shield, is just everyday random spam damage, as that stuff's going to just whittle down your shield when it's really not super important in your games to block, right? Like, stopping the McCree from shooting at your team is fine if they're low or in danger, but not just every single shot that McCree ever shoots do you need to block, or every single right click that Zarya fires, or every single shot, every single sticky that Echo throws in, right? You don't need to soak up
Okay.
all of that spam. It's specific instances where you do need to soak it up. So that can also lead to our shield just going down much more often if we're just soaking up all that random spam. Whereas here, right where we just did this, right, we can go through like those boxes right here while we're pushing in, and we can think to ourselves like, okay, well, did we really do anything? Or I guess is after this, wasn't it? Like, we can look through after this and go, okay, well, did we actually need this shield while pushing through? Right, like right here, we can think, okay, well, we're not low right now. We have 400 HP. We can think, okay, well, we don't have any teammates who are low, top right. We're not blocking abilities. We're not blocking ultimates. Maybe there's a slightly high density of spam, but we're also far enough away to where I'd say this probably doesn't matter too much. So here we probably just make it through, especially if we get a bubble from the Zarya without having to put up our shield. Whereas if you felt like
Mhm.
you got low when you were in danger of dying, then go ahead and put up your shield, right? But I would just say that that's a situation where we just put it up for spam damage when spam damage wasn't needed to be blocked.
Okay.
All right, so hopefully that's most of the stuff that pertains to shields for the most part. So unless we see something new that pops up, that should hopefully be it. And I'll try to move on to other topics so we're not just on shields the entire time. So let's just go through and see some gameplay. Make sure not just sit. I probably say don't just like sit around during this time while we're charging it up, right? Like we could, for example, like if we think that they're top right still, we could be pushing right side and putting ourselves in position while we're recharging our shield, right? We can just path a little bit differently so that we're not like in super dangerous positioning. Like if we approach from this angle, we're not really gonna be taking damage very much, right? We can use the cover over here and get like underneath them. So I just say don't stand still and do nothing while we're recharging. Like
Okay.
go in and push and take some space. And of course, as long as it's not super dangerous.
Enemy contact.
Alright, so here we're just kind of chilling. We're looking for Shatter, I think. Notice how like our entire, we're just sitting there shielding a lot of the spam damage, and then our entire shield's
Mhm.
broken by the time we're engaging the fight. We get grabbed. Alright. So let's rewatch a little bit of this. So we're coming in here. Probably say we want to be looking for Shatter at some point here. They're going to be very, very spread out with this composition, so I wouldn't be expecting many people to be grouped up. Like as we look at their team comp at the moment, I would say quite most of the time I don't say this. Most of the time when I'm
Okay.
telling Reinhardt to go for Shatters, I tell him be ambitious, go for two, go for more than just like 1-2 people. But in this instance, you might only be able to get 1-2 people if Ana and Bap are sitting on the high grounds and Monkey and Echo are flying in the sky, and Zarya and McCree are parted up. Like they're very, very split at the moment. So this might be an instance where you might want to go for just that 1 or 2 player pick. Or alternatively, you could just wait until you bait them to point and then go for a Shatter. That's another option here. So let's just see how that happens here. It's hard to see with the grab there. Okay, so we go for the Shatter into the grab. I would probably say probably. All right, so we get 2 people. Yeah, no, we get 3 people.
I think we
Okay,
had beat too.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking through this, looking at the fight. So yeah, that's well played. I initially thought there were less people in the grab than there actually were. So there's actually 3 people in there. So we stunned 3 people. It looked like there was only potentially going to be a couple in there. One thing I would say is maybe go for the Shatter slightly later. But then the only thing there is like maybe we thought we were gonna die because we didn't have shield and we were so low. But if at all possible here, it would just be better if we go for it later on in the ultimate,
Mhm.
as we can grab them, and then at the very end of the grab then Shatter them, so we kind of get max level CC. Whereas if we combo the 2 like immediately, then they're gonna be grabbed, then we Shatter, and then it just ends once the grab ends, right? So this would just extend the CC longer and keep them stunned and give our team more time to shoot at them if we did that. Though, of course, in this specific instance, I think it's fine because of how low HP we are. Though, of course, let's say we had managed our shield just a little bit better and we had a little bit more shield to spare, then we might have wanted to just shield ourselves and wait a couple extra seconds until we had until later on in the graph. So current situation, yes, maybe don't do that if in a different situation.
Okay.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Nice aggression. All right, so for the most part, actually, still very good cap with 4 minutes basically. So that was well played. See how the defense goes though.
One.
As I imagine they're gonna roll you guys too.
Defend
With
Yeah.
this. Okay, so already just soaking up a bunch of spam damage, right? Like, is that sticky bomb really gonna kill anybody on your team? Probably not. And then on top of that, keep in mind as well, this is tech that I have seen Reinhardt's do, though I am not comfortable with this tech myself. But you are able to drop stickies off of your shield. If you drop your shield and jump backwards, the sticky bombs will
Yeah.
drop to the floor. So that's something you can practice. So when Echo fires a bunch of stickies at your shield. Oh, that's actually what we tried there. That's okay. So we actually did that. Actually, did that do damage to us? It didn't look like it did damage. So actually, you did that. It looks like. No, okay,
I
it
saw that
did.
somewhere.
Yeah, so it did do damage. It was just so maybe slightly late reaction time to it. So do it like an extra half second earlier, and then we wouldn't take damage from it. And I like the fire strikes. Fire strikes so far have been looking very solid. Same with charges. Ultimates, I've seen one use of it, and then it was a good shatter. So I'm just kind of going through all the bases on the moment. Okay, so we do back up there again, noting that pretty much our entire shield is gone already, right? Just it seems to be going down quite a bit, and we don't. And then again, like, is this us shielding for a monkey who's shooting at us really that efficient of a use when we could be recharging it at the moment, right? Something else I would mention as well. We keep going back to the shields here. With our shield is that you want to typically leave a emergency shield available. So this is you typically want to leave like 300-ish left on your shield at all times. That way you, for example, really easy way to see the value in this is to think of like a Reinhardt shatter on the enemy team. Like if the Reinhardt has a shatter and we let our shield break, Reinhardt can shatter for free, whereas if we save that last little bit of 300 HP, we can block his shatter in an emergency. Or, for example, let's say we're at 300 HP on our shield and someone gets critical HP and we need to save them, you can use it. Or you're blocking an ultimate or something really important we can use it for. But you want to try to leave that HP if possible. That way you just have it for an emergency. Whereas here we're at 365 and then we plop it up for nothing in particular, right? And then it goes down, and then also keeping in mind that if you let it break, a lot of the times it'll take a longer time to recharge, and you won't have it at all during that time where it's on cooldown. So it's just a lot more efficient a lot of the times to just leave it up and let it recharge than to have it break. Right, so again, hopefully we'll be able to talk about things that aren't just shields, but it's a lot of shields so far. Yeah, so shields are back up, swinging on stuff, this is good. Okay, just looking back at this, so I want to see after we scare the monkey away. Make sure that when we have health and shields that we're engaging, so for example here, we have our health and we have, for the most part, some shields, and we kind of just sit around, and we want to be engaging during this time, going in and swinging, for example, maybe running at the Genji who's low, and then using this time, because Reinhardt, that's how he finds value, is when he's going in and swinging, whereas here, if we just kind of hold up shield, well then, now we're not going to be able to push at all, because now shield's just broken, and how are we going to push without a shield, right? We can't go in and swing on things without a shield, so we want to make sure we're going in and swinging when we have health and when we have shield, rather than when we don't have either. Or don't have one or the other, right? We want to have both. So this would be a good opportunity to go in and do things right now when we have health and shields. Whereas here we just kind of sit around, and then therefore they just break our shields even further. I mean, they break our shields, and then now we don't have any shields at all, right? So probably be a good instance to push in and get aggro. Though good usage of cover, so far I have seen a pretty good usage of cover. We have been, our shield breaks here, and we are using these objects well, so that is one other good aspect. Though
Okay.
here, because we're not going in and swinging on things, we're losing out on a lot of the value that Reinhardt's getting, right? Like, we kind of basically just sat around this fight, whereas, that's not how Reinhardt wants to be operating, right? Reinhardt wants to go in and swing on things. He wants to brawl. He wants to do damage because that's how his kit works. If you're just going to sit there and shield, you're better off on a character like Orisa or Sigma, who can shield and shoot and shield and use abilities. Whereas Reinhardt can just, if he sits around the shields, he's not doing anything at all, right?
Yeah.
So the shield is useful in some instances, and when you're trying to go in the swing, but you don't want to just kind of sit there and shield in most instances, because that's just going to lead to you doing nothing and not having an impact.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh, okay. Well,
Zen hit every shot.
that's rough.
And his charge up.
All right. So that sounds good and looks good. So yeah, that's the type of thing that hopefully won't be happening in Overwatch 2 when tanks when there's less when it's 5v5. So, well, in any case, that sucks.
Yeah. And we kind of just got rolled through that, I think.
We're leaving for Wicca.
Do we have Shadow here? No, we didn't. All right. Maybe just we could maybe sneak in a shatter here, like if we, for example, came in, if we knew that we were 96, we knew that we needed one swing, we could swing once and then shatter immediately as we're dropping here. Yet we don't,
Okay.
and then that means that we just miss out on the shatter opportunity. Whereas like here, for example, swing, shatter right here, get 3 to 4 people, and then this, stuns everyone, maybe opens up for a pick potential, stops people from being able to shoot at us, makes us survive longer. So it's just an option here. This is, it's unlikely that this wins us the fight, though it is still something that we could have maybe done a little bit more efficiently.
We're leaving for Wicca.
All right, so that kind of stinks. And then again, it's unlikely that it would have helped, but again, same thing here when we were going for the fire strike, possibly just using cover slightly better and sticking closer to the left wall, so that would give us more cover, and possibly would, we could fire strike from around the corner, for example. You can charge up the fire strike and then turn the corner, since it does have a delay before it actually fires. Again, highly unlikely that that would have stopped us from blowing up in 0.2 seconds. But still something.
Okay.
All right.
Get it done.
Okay. So we pushing in aggressive. This is good. The one thing I would say is when we're pushing in aggressive like this, we should probably be pushing in aggressive to them rather than just to point. So
Okay.
yeah. So like our two compositions. Let me think about how to word this. You are familiar with what dive and brawl are, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen. Yes, I've seen this. Let me just pull it up real quick. Yes, and then I've seen something along the lines of this. Let me send it to you. Like just the
Ooh, that
idea of all
is
of them.
that's cool. Okay, I might need to steal. Do you know whose that is?
It came from like the huge Overwatch server. That's like r/Overwatch, like the
Nice.
big one. You're a part of it apparently.
Yeah. So in any case, I might need to yoink that for just coaching purposes. I mean, I
Yeah.
have to take more of a look at that. I have my own that's a little bit, maybe, I don't know. I haven't taken a look at what they say underneath them. Poke, just so I can take a look at them. So brawl, high sustain, overtime damage, low vertical mobility. Then dive is single target focus, high mobility, low damage, space control. Poke, high damage, high CC, low sustain. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
And then I've
For
also
the most part,
seen one other thing that's like it's like basically just a regular graph, and it shows like how brawl over time of the fight, like the longer the fight lasts, the more value brawl is going to have. Like poke will have like the same throughout, and then dive has
okay.
high value early, is what I've
That
heard.
is probably that I would say that's wrong. So
Okay.
how brawl works is, so brawl and spam are are opposites, right? So that's where I'd say this one. I like that has the characters on them. I haven't actually looked at all the characters, but I think this is a good like rough graph, and for the most part, it's good. Though some things that are missing off of it. So how Brawl operates versus how Spam operates, and how they want to be playing. So a Brawl composition is made up of close range. Or I guess it's easier to start off at a Spam or a poke. It's easier to start off with them. So a poke comp basically is long range characters, right? Long range characters, they can shoot from a long range, right? So let's say just in comparison, they spam to the brawl. If if the brawl's far away, the poke gets to shoot them while the brawl cannot shoot back, right? So
Hmm.
therefore, the more the fight goes on, the more time spam has to shoot them, right? The more time spam has to shoot them from a distance, and just that's why I refer to it as spam, is because it's just a ton of damage that you're pumping in, and the longer the fight goes, the more that damage gets to do its stuff, like do its thing, right? The more damage you're doing. Whereas Brawl
Hmm.
is a very fast-paced composition, and very and it's also very close range, because you can't do damage from that range. You cannot do damage when you're far away from people. Therefore, the longer the fight goes, the more of a disadvantage you have, because now if the fight's going on for a long time, that means you're probably not on top of them. That means that they're staying away from you, and that means that they're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to do damage to them. So therefore, you have a disadvantage the longer the fight goes on. So that means that here, rather than running to point, it'd probably be best if we ran on top of them, because Brawl, again, wants to play fast. We want to run into them because we're close-ranged characters. Currently, our team is on a Brawl composition. The enemy team is a little bit between I'd probably say mostly a dive, but a little bit of a poke as well, mixed in there.
Yeah, with the
Mhm.
Zenyatta like echo,
Yep,
right?
exactly. Yep. So that means that therefore, that means that in this situation, we probably want to just be getting in on top of them, because the same thing with dive is that the longer we give them time to set up and to do their thing, the more an advantage they're going to have. Whereas if we're just kind of sitting there and not doing anything, then we're going to be at a disadvantage. So I'd say that is the one thing that this chart has wrong, is that Brawl is definitely not a composition that likes to play slow or likes the fight to drag out. Spam is the comp that likes the fight to drag out. Brawl is the comp that wants the fight to end fast, right? Because if
Okay.
it's drawing out, they can't. That means that they're doing less and less damage. So
Okay.
yeah, just so you can look at the one I have. This is the chart that I can give real quick. Much less cool than that one, but it's just, it shows kind of how the different comps operate a little bit, though I do like some of the additions that the other one adds in. But there's just a rough list of how those work out. Brawl fast
Oh
close,
yeah.
spam far slow. All right.
Oh yeah. I
All
saw
right.
this on one of your other videos.
Fire only.
I'm staking my claim on
Now, if
that.
there was like a Rhine comp, right? Like if they
Mhm.
also had a Brawl comp in that situation, and of course I'm using Shield to get there. I wouldn't want to run into them because then I'd
Yeah.
just be
So
using my Shield advantages. Like
So
I'd
that
lose
would,
Shield.
yeah. So if it's a Reinhardt comp that, and you're running the same, like if let's say we
Like
were running
mirror.
yeah, let's say we're running a mirror, then that becomes a little bit different, because now they don't get any additional advantage from you not being on top of them, and you might want to recharge your shield.
Yeah.
Whereas here we gain a disadvantage the longer we go without a fight. Okay, so yep, we all die there. Let me take one more look at that. So I think we get a nade gets on us. Gotta watch out for the Ana tossing a nose. We're also without a shield there, which is unfortunate. And then, like I said, probably running straight into them might be more effective there.
Okay.
Okay, so this time it does look like we're running more straight into
60
them.
seconds.
Though, make sure we're not just kind of sitting there shielding a monkey, but we're swinging it on top of him, maybe pinning him, maybe doing something to him. Whereas there, we just kind of, like, again, we're just kind of sitting there and shielding. A lot of this is sitting here and shielding when shield isn't necessary, right? Like, we can look at this whole
Yeah.
fight and just see, okay, is shield really necessary? Okay, yes, here we're pushing an aggro. Shield's necessary. Okay, now, is shield necessary? Okay, well, we have, who's shooting at us? We have Zarya, Genji, Monkey. We can't stop Monkey. Zarya and Genji now, like, is it worth shielding for just 2 people
Mm-hmm.
if no one's in danger, right? So that's the next thing
And I
to
have
keep
bubble.
in mind, right? And then you have bubble as well, right, where you want to be going swinging so that your bubble can, the bubble can be getting value. And
60
then
seconds
here we
remaining.
continue to shield, and then now we're swinging, and then we shield again, right? Shield needed. Okay, well, no, we have on our team. Let's see, Doomfist who's 1, but he's in the room who we're not shielding. Lucio who's a little bit lower. But Zarya is out of range of Lucio, and no one else. So maybe in this situation it's slightly, this shield is maybe slightly better because we have 2 people who are low behind us. But at the same time, we could also be getting the monkey. Like, who's a bigger threat currently to Baptiste and Lucio, the monkey or the people sitting in the back here are just kind of spamming.
Yeah, I think the monkey that I'm not shielding at all.
Yeah, the monkey who
Yeah.
you can't really shield up against, so we do one single swing and then shield and then we're good, right? Whereas here we
Okay.
don't swing, and then that means that, he just stays alive for a little bit longer, and then we're shielding still, we're flickering it up, so. Alright, so why don't we talk about strengths and weaknesses real quick, of just, how that's all working out right now, what you need to work on the most. So, ability usage, honestly, I typically go with ability usage. Fire Strike and Charge looking fine, not really many things we talked about it, but there is a ton with our shield management, so, honestly,
Okay.
we're just going to change that category over to shield management, and I'd probably say that this is looking like the biggest thing that needs that you need to work on with your Reinhardt gameplay, and I probably put it at like a high priority just based off of how
Okay.
frequently it's coming up and how often we're mismanaging it. Um, Ultimate usage, we've only seen one yet so far.
Yeah,
We've seen
I
one.
think so.
So based off of that, because we're also charging it slowly because they're on a spam comp, which will mean we're swinging less. But the one I saw was decent. I'd definitely like to see more before I'm talking more on it. So honestly, I might not
Right.
even comment too much on it. For now, I'll hold on to that one. But I need to definitely see another one before I, even put my opinion on that one. But the one I saw was fine. The one I saw was good. Slight delay maybe on it, if possible. Now moving on to the third one, which would be positioning. Positioning so far has been looking fine. There's some instances where we probably should have been using cover, like, just remembering that good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas bad positioning is the absence of cover, which we get for the most part. There's just sometimes where we could have used cover a little bit better, and then besides that, there wasn't a ton else that we talked about positioning. So that one probably will put at like a low to medium priority, and
Mhm.
then finally, and then Reiner doesn't have mechanics really, so the final category would
No.
be awareness/aggression. And this one does have some stuff in it where, like, for example, we should have been, pay attention to team compositions and how they dictate play styles, and making sure that we're going in and getting aggressive if their comp benefits from from dragging out fights and our comp doesn't. So just making sure we're getting aggressive off of that. And then besides that, there's some instances where we just kind of sit around when we shouldn't, or we're not paying attention, being aware of our surroundings, like not knowing that our team is nowhere near us while we're shielding the high noon. So there's a lot of odds and ends. So pay
Mhm.
attention to where your team is, pay attention to where the enemy team is, pay attention to the flow of the fight, and then that will dictate how aggressive we should be playing. Like, if you have shields and health, make sure we're going in and doing stuff. If we don't, make sure we're backing out. Whereas, we kind of we sit around a lot when we do have the ability to go in and do things, right? Um, then that means I'd probably put this one at either a medium or a medium high. Let's see how that one goes. But I guess for now, why don't we put that one at a medium priority, and then we'll adjust it as we go along. Though that definitely does
Okay.
seem like the second biggest thing at the moment.
Okay.
Right. So for the moment, the one thing we're trying to keep our eye on is more shatters. So hopefully we get 2 more of those. If at the end we need to, like, we haven't seen a ton, by the time we're approaching the end, we'll just hopefully skip through some more to try to get 2 more shatters if possible,
Yeah.
just so we can see how we're doing with them.
30
Right.
seconds.
So not really doing much with that shield. Just drop it to recharge the next 50%. But I mean, it's not, or 50
Objective
damage.
A
Not
captured.
wasn't too bad anyways.
New defense point. Objective B.
Wait on your team. we're not going to get any benefit from taking this high ground this early. In fact, this is going to be negative because now they just get to spam our shield for free while we can't push forwards here. Like, what's happening if we push forwards here? We're going to be ahead of the rest of our team and be down everybody, and then we're going to die, right? Whereas here,
Okay.
us peeking early is just going to, what are we going to do? This is just giving them, saying like, hey, shoot at me, please, for free.
Mhm.
Maybe you could peek for a quick fire strike, but that's it. That's all we should be doing. We shouldn't be up here brawling because that's just gonna drain our shield out. Now we have some teammates coming in, but we're still missing some people. Honestly, they killed less of our shield than I expected them to, but I mean, we even still have a Doom and a Kree who are flanking, so I might even want to wait on those guys, but we at the very minimum here, by the time like we're doing anything, I guess now we see more of it coming out, right? By the time we're actually trying to go in and do stuff, we're at 500, right?
Yeah.
And then they kill our Zarya, make sure we're paying attention to her, maybe we could have helped her there. There's a lot of sitting around and shielding. And then by the time we're like, by the time we swing on something, the fight's pretty much lost
Already
because we're already
over.
down. Yeah, already over because we're already down 2 people, right?
Every second counts. Crush their defenses.
And now we do get the Zenyatta, but they kill the Doomfist.
Activate. Group up.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, watch for the bubble, right? We just have to pay attention to the things that can block it. In their
Mhm.
current team composition, they only have 2 things that can block your ultimate, and that is a Zarya bubble and a Monkey bubble. So as long as we just
Yep.
watch out for those, we're good, right? Pay attention to when we're looking for the shatter here, all we have to do is just go, okay, Monkey's dead, Zarya's bubble's the only thing that can block us. When did she use her bubbles last? If she has them, you gotta be careful because she can just bubble them. If she does, so in this situation, maybe instead of shattering right now, we could swing on her, bait out her bubble, and then shatter, for example, right? Or we could also shatter the Genji, who has a Nano Blade, right? This is another
Mhm.
option here. This would require like ult tracking, which is something we could go over if you want to, though of course we don't have to. That's kind of like an optional thing we could do. But if we're paying attention to what Genji is on his blade, we could counter the Genji Nano Blade with a shatter, right? Shatter him, pin him into a
Mhm.
wall, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So overall, not a very high value shatter. So if we're placing it now on the list, I'd probably say that one. I'm trying to think. What we'll do is we'll bump up our awareness/aggression to a medium high, and then we'll put shatter usage at a medium for the moment, and then we'll see and we'll adjust it again as we go through more of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides that, let's take a look at the rest of the fight because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, we get grabbed. Not a lot we can, some that, most of our deaths we can do something about. This
Mhm.
death's just, when you get solo grabbed, not a lot you can do. All right.
Attackers incoming.
That's the best you can do.
Hmm. So something else that I might recommend here is just
Mhm.
being slightly more aggressive at that front choke. So this is again, this is something that typically it really comes down to team compositions because team composition dictates your play style. When they are on different team compositions and you guys are on different team compositions, you play drastically differently, right? So here,
Mhm.
in most cases, I would say what you're doing is fine because a lot of times you'll see at very high levels of play people will, hold up here for a second, they'll get the fire strike off, and then they'll back up to hold this so that they can hold point. They'll hold, they can hold these 2 chokes. But because of the fact that they are on a spam or like a spammy dive composition, I probably say
Mhm.
we don't want to give them this space because giving them this space works well into their comp and works against our composition, right? Like we've talked about, our comp likes fast and close. Their comp wants far and slow. If we, this choke point right here, in most cases, you're not going to hold here because it's just not as good. But because of the the comparison between the two comps, it'd probably be better that we hold up close so that we don't give them space to work with, so that they can't just spread out through the whole map, get a bunch of space, and then they're able to play their far distance. They're able to play at a slow pacing. Whereas if we take the fight up closer, then they're not able to do that. So I would just say again, this is a situation where this is dependent on team composition, and because of the differences between our team comps, you probably want to engage them in the choke. Whereas if they were another brawl, go and hold where you're holding. If they are a dive, probably like if they're a full dive, probably say that it's a little bit like I honestly could hold either or,
Mhm.
because they're on a dive you spam. Or honestly, now they're on more of a spam than a dive at the moment. So because they're on a spammy comp, you don't want to let them through. And then if you were a spam, you definitely want to hold here no matter what, just so that you give yourself space. And then if you are a dive, again, you probably want to let them through so that you're able to like kind of set them up on the dive. Maybe you dive them while they're at choke or something of that sort. So it depends on team
Okay.
comps again. Probably would just hold a little bit more aggro. So that kind of feeds into more awareness stuff. All right, shields them already gone. And then again, notice how that's a trend between like every single fight. We don't have a shield by the time the fight's beginning, right?
Yeah.
And then and then we put it up again, like against not really anything in particular, and then now we don't have shield to be able to push forward. So a lot of shield mismanagement here, and then therefore that
Okay.
affects our aggression. Probably preferably could be pushing in and swinging there, but we didn't have a way to back up, which meant that we weren't able to push in and swing. Like, again, we push forwards. It looks like maybe we're trying to go forwards and like maybe swing a little bit on the monkey, but we're unable to just because we are only 200 on our shield. So a lot of just the shield mismanagement affects our aggression.
Okay.
Hey, good fire strike. Flicking it up against the monkey, right? Just let it recharge. Just a lot of that. Okay,
Okay.
flicking it up again. Alright, now one's a little bit more acceptable, right? Those we're blocking abilities and when we're low. Very nice fire strikes. 2 fire strike kills that fight. That's really good. Alright, very nice. Okay, I'd like to see how we use the shatter here. Just gotta watch out for the bubble and the monkey ult, and then
Both
possibly
bubbles, yeah.
and then Brig her shield. Oh, someone else woke her up. Feels bad, or him up. Pretty solid ult. No, not too much an objection there. That's stopping, stop it, countering another ult while also getting a kill out of it. So that is pretty solid usage of it. So yeah, we're just adjusting it around. Yeah, we'll maybe put it like low to medium now off of that, but again, we'll still, we'll see more because we've only seen 3 of them. Maybe
Mhm.
we'll try to, with the last couple of minutes, we'll just go and look at like a couple more. So, that one was decent amount. Oh, actually, how did we die there? Make sure we're not going for a fire strike when we're 97 HP, even if it's on a shattered monkey. Prioritize your life over getting the kill. Watch your health
Yeah.
bar. This is over aggression when we don't have health, right?
Yeah.
And then that leads to a death, and then now we are not there to participate. Okay, let's see. How many people do we have coming back here with us? So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Maybe doable.
60 seconds.
Don't worry, my friends. I'll try your shield.
Let's just go through.
Yeah. Again, maybe just go in and swing and do. I mean, like here, just shielding and walking around isn't really gonna do much. It's not like shielding and walking around is going to stall out enough time for your entire team to get a reset and come back to
Mhm.
point or something like that. You're not really gonna get any value out of just sitting there and shielding. Whereas you probably will get value if you try to go in and swing. So right there, while Doomfist was being a distraction on half of their team, and we had shields and health, then we could be swinging on
Mhm.
stuff. But instead, we just kind of sat there and shielded. So just being aggressive when we have the reason to be aggressive.
Lost.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see. How do they win this fight? Oh, okay, make sure we're not jumping into the grab. Let's see. Here, we're holding kind of out in the open a lot, whereas we preferably would be closer to this left side so we have cover
Yeah.
usage we can work with. Whereas if we're in the smack, in the middle of point, no cover anywhere. This is the absence of cover. Whereas if we hold left side-ish, we can, anybody down main, right? Let's say, McCree, Ana, anybody else down mid, we can put them out of line of sight. We can go here and put the people out of line of sight. We can go further back, come here, put everyone out of line of sight, right? We just have a lot more options to work with. And then on top of that, note how we can put up our shield and block everybody from this perspective. Whereas if we put up shield here,
Yeah.
we're not blocking Echo, we're not blocking Zarya, we're not blocking, or I guess we can't block Monkey anyways, right? But the people can take angles around this. So just where we're currently holding is not good positioning. And then we also jump into the grab, and then we die because we don't have shield, which maybe you lost like an extra 400 at the beginning of the fight. That was probably unnecessary. Oh, and then that's it. That's the end of the game. Okay. So, do you have another replay you'd like to go over a little bit?
I was looking for that because the other ones I have are Zarya because that's the other person I play. I have another Reinhardt one on King's Row. It was close. I remember it's 4-3 win. I think.
All
I'll give you
right.
that one. All right.
All right. So here we will, let's see. So we'll do, trying to think. We'll probably take the last like 6-ish minutes to do a review and go over the main points of the session, and then we'll do the kind of wrap up stuff there, or at least at the end of the other hour we do, and then we will. That means we have like 5 more minutes here. So why don't we do like a couple minutes of just regular, and then we'll spend like the last 3 minutes to just look at ultimate.
Okay.
All right.
Now entering King's Row. Ready for battle.
What the but they have Doomfist out. Okay, so some of these I'm just looking at the chart right now. They have some of these a little bit off. Like why are they classifying Doomfist as a half poke? Doomfist is in between dive and brawl, not poke. In
Yeah.
fact, he's like the it's the complete opposite. So I would say he's very much not a poke. Let's see, what
I
are we
think
here?
someone was saying was that they might have classified each of them as the hero itself instead of the comp that they're played in. Possibly.
Like what do you
For some of them
so
at least.
can you
Like McCree's not
yeah.
let me see. I gotta pull it back up.
Like McCree, they put in yeah, again, like McCree, they put in a poke, like a full poke, whereas McCree I'd probably say is much more flexible to where he'd be closer to the middle there.
Mhm.
So I mean, maybe I don't know how like what program, or if they just how they did that. Maybe I gotta just look for stickers and make something like this. But there's a couple of things that are out of order, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's pretty decent. All right, so let's just continue on here. Just look at like this first fight. Good fire strike.
Defend objective A. Mobility increase.
Okay. Taking a lot of shield poke there. Just taking a lot of spam damage, probably unnecessary at the moment. And then that means, again, by the time the fight's starting, 400 HP, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very, very good brawl in there. Though, make sure that we are swinging our camera around a little bit more. So there, we're not swinging our camera around at all. So why don't we'll go over that a little bit in a minute. So why don't we just look for shatters real quick, and then we'll go talk about that in a moment. So let's see, when do you use it for shatter? We use it somewhere around here. So let's look. Alright, so this one looked fat. Very massive. Yep, so
The crouch so late on that one.
What you say? You charge a little bit late.
Oh no, I think I tried to do the like I usually try to do the crouch like
Crouch
fire
fire
strike.
strike.
I think
Oh
I
yeah.
crouched after the fire strike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're right. All right. Skip forwards. Look at number 2. I like that we're not holding on to ults as well. That's good. Okay, here we shatter. Do we shatter when we don't have our team with us?
Adaptive circuits engaged. Reinhardt.
It was
Okay,
to stop the
that's
echo.
pretty. Yeah, I mean we had our team with us here, so that's pretty massive as well. Honestly, yeah, I think that we'll keep it at the low to medium there because we now that we're up against the brawl comp, it is looking a lot like we're a lot more comfortable. It's just remember that when you're up against different compositions, you're adjusting your play style, so we need to make sure that we're watching for the things that can block our shatters when we're up against other comp. And then that's pretty much it. Massive shatter there. Though let's take one more look at that. So we shatter, and then what do we do after we shatter? So we're 130 HP, so we're trying not to swing and stuff. Okay, that was good. I like that we didn't get super aggressive, even though since we were low. And maybe we'll go for one more. Yep. Okay. Fairly solid since there's 10 seconds left and we're trying to get some opening picks and no one's grouped up anyways, so that is very solid as well. Going first one. All right. Oh, watch out for the res that's happening like right behind us. We could maybe swing at her and then that could even boop her off of the res and then
Yeah.
stop the res from happening, so that's something we could go for there. All right, let's leave here and we're gonna go to the training range. So let's talk first about swinging tech. So there when we were in that room with a bunch of people, we are just kind of staring straight at like one person. So when we're just doing this, where we're just swinging like this, we're hitting one single person. Whereas if we swing our camera from side to side, well now we can hit multiple people. Like we can be hitting both of these guys, right? So the very easy way to do this is just to swing with the kind of your hammer. So when your hammer's going left, you go left. Hammer's right, you go right. So left, right,
Yeah.
left, right, and it's just the easy way to go about that. So you can even do people like hit people from like complete 180, right? So like these guys we can hit even though they're like on the complete opposite side of each other, right? Just by swinging your camera around. So there we just missed out on a big opportunity to do a whole bunch of damage just because we were kind of looking straight and not moving our camera around. On top of that, the fire strike tech real quick is just you can be standing around the corner and then turn, because it has a charge up time, you can press it and then turn the corner, and that's just an easy way to get a fire strike off without taking a bunch of damage. So that'd be, for example, what we could have done like when we got insta blown up. Instead of standing here, we could have been over here and then just done this, and then that way they can't blow us up in half a second as easily. Now moving on, main points of the session and then what needs to be worked on and just a quick review along with that. So number one thing was the shield management, as that led to a lot of aggression problems. So quite honestly, typically I pair aggression with your awareness, but in this case, honestly, it felt more like our aggression was paired with our shield management, as when we had, or I guess, it's hard to say, because I feel like our aggression was directly impacted by our shield management, though I don't think that they correlate super well, but in any case, we'll keep it the same. So it's just, number one is shield management. Make sure we're not shielding for every single random thing, but we're, every little bit of random spam damage, but we're shielding for specific things, right? Shield for when you are low, your team is low, abilities, ultimates, when you're pushing in, when you're backing out, when there's a ton of spam damage, right? And then, of course, like anything else that comes just in between that is needed. Then besides that, let's move on to the next. Make sure we're not just spamming it up every couple of seconds when you need it to recharge.
Yeah.
Make sure when it needs to recharge, we're keeping it down so that we can recharge in, and then only putting it up if you need to. Leave a last little bit of like 300 HP on it for emergency shield. And then besides that, what else was there? Shield hopping to push in and back out, right? And then I think that was it. I feel like I'm forgetting like one thing on there, but I probably am. And then just not sitting there shielding, right? You don't just like kind of sit there and shield because that's not how Reinhardt wants to operate. So now moving on to awareness slash aggression. Make sure that we're paying attention to team compositions as that dictates play style. When you are playing different things and when they're playing different things, we are playing differently. So make sure
Yeah.
we're paying attention to what people are running and then adjusting accordingly. Make sure we're paying attention to our health and our shield health as we should be playing, going in and doing things when we have health and shields, but sometimes we'd have health and shields and we just kind of sit here and hold our shield up and then we'd never get an opportunity to go in and swing. So make sure we're not just sitting there shielding. Besides that, make sure that we are paying attention to what can block our shield. That's part of paying attention to team comps. Pay attention to where's the enemy team at, where's my team at, and just like where people are located. So, look behind you with your, with your shield so you can look at where your team is behind you, right? So when they're high nooning at you, right? That sort of thing. And then that's most of the stuff there. Now moving on, number 3 was going to be your shatter usage, or trying to think. Yeah, probably say it's a shatter usage. Just make sure that you're shattering at the end of the graph if possible, not at the beginning of it. Make sure you're not getting blocked by Zarya bubble, and then besides that, I think that was pretty much it with it. So honestly, because that was it, we'll honestly put this at number 4, not number 3. So number 3 we'll put in at positioning, just making sure we're using
Mhm.
cover well. Good positioning is the usage of cover, bad positioning is the absence of cover, making sure we're not just standing on the open. And then honestly, and then also just knowing when to be push it forwards to that close cut hold versus that far hold. And then besides that, that's pretty much it there. So those are the
Okay.
main things. Do you have any questions about anything? Or I mean, if you do, you can also feel free to ask them at any point because I think we're doing the 1 hour playtime now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, you can also ask them during that time. So I mean, do you have any questions now?
No, not before. Um, would there be any case where where because of their like spam and we're on defense, where you want to like sit back on a point or on a corner,
If they're
it's
on the
all
spam,
there?
it really depends on the potency of the positioning. So it really depends on the map. I would say is like
Okay.
how good is the positioning, because you can like if they're on a spam comp. In some instances, you can still hold really far back if it's really good cover usage. So, think for
Like
example,
Junkertown, like that. You don't want to hold.
yes, exactly.
You don't want
Like
to hold front
Junker.
up. You want to hold that
Mhm.
corner.
Exactly, right. You don't want to hold really. You don't want to hold like kind of in the middle. You want to hold, up on the high ground and then drop. Right. That's in a good example in Junkertown. Whereas it might be a little bit different, like on that map like Volskaya, where I'd say the back holding is just slightly better versus like much better. Whereas on Junkertown, it's not just slightly better. It's much better, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably say another similar example would be on Eichenwald as well. First point defense, where instead of holding up at the choke, you want to be holding back on the corner, which would, yes, would let them push forwards and take space, but it forces them to walk through bad positioning, through a open no man's land, the area where there's no cover at all, where you can spam them the whole way in, and then you can engage them when they get a little bit closer.
Okay.
All right. So, anything else?
No. That
All
is
right.
all.
So then, would you like the recording to also include the second half as well?
Sure.
Sure. All right. So then let me. Oh, I'm on my main account here. Let me log on to my account that I use to. It's my lowest account here. That way, it's not super high games. 1, and then 2. That's the main purpose of it. All right. Let me get that up real quick. Oh, okay. I just copy pasted it from Fiverr.
Okay.
um,
Understand.
and then are you on American or European servers?
American.
American. All right. Let me get on then.
How do you switch servers?
You can
Like a
switch
setting.
servers from the BattleNet launcher.
Ah, okay.
All right. So I'm friending you now.
I have one from someone else. Propane or
Oh,
Trasher?
yeah, Treasure is my alt account here.
Okay.
All right. So, what mode would you like to do? You want to do some quick play or something else?
Whatever you think. I'm up for whatever.
No. Well, I mean, I'm down for some quick play. Let's see. So there's. Oh, what the heck? Why is Wait, is that a bug? The anniversary, or not the anniversary? The retribution. Oh, what am I saying? The archives missions are up currently. What is that? Changes daily. Okay. So I was not aware of that. So apparently in arcade, the archives missions are something that can come in daily. Interesting. So yeah, there is Quick Play Classic, which I usually don't prefer. So I guess the three options I would probably be up for would be Team Deathmatch, 44, Mystery Heroes, and then just Quick Play.
Quick play. Let's go.
Sounds good, man. Do you have any preference on what I play here?
Whatever you want.
All right.
Doesn't matter to me.
Sounds good. Well, I can play anything, but typically I prefer to steer away from tank, at least until they make them more fun in Overwatch 2. All right. So yeah, I mean, if at any point during this time you have any questions that just pop up about anything, just feel free to ask, and I'd be happy to get back to you about those.
Okay.
All right, let's see.
Anything typical for Zarios, like um, tips or things that people do wrong as Zarya at like the
A
flat
lot of
diamond level.
at diamond level, trying to think. Well, I mean, of course, it really always depends on the person, and that's why coaching matters, and you can't just kind of look at a YouTube video and get all of the knowledge perfectly because every person's different. But I mean, there are some general things that you see trends of. Like I probably say one of the bigger things that a lot of Zarya struggle with is bubble usage, and knowing like just how to use them properly and to get the most energy and to get the most value out of them. That's usually a one that is one that people struggle with a lot. And then besides that, trying to think. Mechanics usually, yeah, trying to think.
Welcome to Junkertown.
Yeah, ultimates is definitely depends on the person.
Select
Mechanics
your hero.
typically, and I mean from your mechanics, I mean you were on Reinhardt, so I couldn't really see that too well. But I mean
Yeah.
you were hitting a lot of fire strikes, and it didn't seem like your camera was super shaky. So overall, I would say that I mean just Zarya mechanics are usually decent enough. Awareness and positioning are something that people struggle with all the time on like no matter what character they're playing. And then like I said, I'd probably say bubble usage is the one that's specific to it. And then yeah.
Yeah. I saw something somewhere. It was helpful. It was like because like I would like sometimes just bubble like my Ryan because I usually play Zarya Ryan like bubble and then you go out there and then I just obviously not get much charge rather than having him go out there and bubble
Yeah.
while there's damage being put on.
Yep. Definitely want to make sure it's you're doing it while he's in the middle taking it, not before he does.
And also to save him, even for stuff like shatter, like I've been able to block a few shatters because I didn't know that for a while.
3, 2,
That you can block shatter.
attackers
Yeah, with bubble.
Stop the payload.
All right. Let's see. Run.
There comes the something from us.
Enemies revived.
So have you been playing since the game came out?
I've been playing since season 3, so not since the game came out, but very consistently since then. So I didn't take many big breaks. Max I've ever taken was like a month off, or more accurately, like a month and a half off. So, yep. Played a ton. I have like 4,000 hours in the game, so quite a lot.
Jeez. What other games do you play? Or did you play before Overwatch?
Yeah, so I played, before Overwatch, I played Minecraft. Oh, I'm gonna die maybe. Oh, no, I'm good. Maybe. Alright, I'm out. Yeah, so before Overwatch, I played Minecraft a ton. Back when I was younger, and then before that I was on like Xbox, and I played just assortment of Xbox games, Minecraft, Call of Duty, but never online on Xbox. And
Yeah.
then this was really my first PC, like competitive PC FPS. So that was, and originally played Silver, so I wasn't very good at it. But yeah, besides that, now currently I play a few other games, like much more than I did before. So I play Overwatch still. I play Apex a bit. I've been getting back into Minecraft a little bit with some pals, and then I play a bunch of just
Mm.
like random like party games with friends
Party games.
type of deal.
Okay.
So just a large assortment. Oh, there's a Widow right side.
What is behind
Hi, Widow.
us? Yeah.
Yeah, I see her. Well, that was very unnecessary, but it's fine. No, no,
So
that,
is-
that
so
dragon
is that
was, yeah.
for 3 years, and the camel lives
Uh,
9.
So what's your favorite role to play
My
nowadays?
favorite role is, and I play pretty much anything because especially when I'm playing with friends, I'll flex, just so we get faster queues and whatnot. But my favorite
Yeah.
role is still DPS, which I've been maining for a year now, or sorry, 2 years now, roughly. So that is currently my favorite role. And then support's second favorite, which I mained. Oh, sorry, I'm getting killed. So I'm not that great at talking while playing. Yeah, so support second favorite. I played support the second most kind of for 2 years before I played DPS, and then tank. Still like playing tank. It's just not as fun as the others for the moment until they turn tanks into brawlers, and then that sounds like that'll be fun. Can't wait to play monkey with with
alternate
range
fire?
man. Yeah, with range man.
Yo, I didn't see the video, like the release video. What alternate fire? Like what kind of alternate fire
Yeah,
was
so
it?
it's basically, I'm trying to think of a similarity. It's like it's not very high damaging, but it allows him to hit at a range. So I'm trying to think of a comparison between the characters.
Yeah, shot. Does it
there-
have knockback or just
No,
like,
no knockback. It's just literally like it as if he was just Teslaing you from a range and a little bit of a burst. So
okay.
it doesn't do very much damage. I'd probably
Like a
say
Zarya
maybe,
right click kind
yeah,
of?
yeah,
But,
yeah.
like
Kind
not
of like
projectile?
Zarya right click, but like less damage than like if she's full charge, of course, right? I'd probably say that's how it works. But it doesn't. I don't think it has a projectile from what I saw. It kind of travels in a straight line. I think, kind of like a fire strike-ish.
Okay.
So it's maybe as if you gave Monkey a Fire Strike that does less damage, though I'm not fully aware of what it, maybe it also like, I think it'd be pretty kind of cool if it like did like kind of a lightning chain effect where it hit multiple people. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that they ever like fully explained it. They were just like, yeah, alternate fire, and then they showed you. Oh yeah, May's change is also pretty interesting. If you didn't see that,
What did they do to May?
yeah, May, she no longer freezes people. When she left clicks, she slows them down, but it does more
Not
damage.
yet.
Oh, move. No, I'm trying to think. I'll go Genji here.
Like 1 quick second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem.
Unstable. What is that melody?
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
All right.
So,
Play some Zarya.
what do you think about the 5v5 changes? Because I know that's a very, very
Um,
controversial topic as of the moment.
Yeah, since I haven't seen the video and I don't have any real opinions on it, mostly because I haven't seen the release video of it at all. I've just heard from people. I'm okay with it as long as they give some kind of like buffer, but I'm open to see how it works out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As someone who enjoys playing tank or sometimes enjoys playing tank.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think overall it'll be a positive change in my personal opinion. Though at the moment I'd probably say it's like a slightly unpopular one.
Oh yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
not
I think,
popular.
it will probably up queue times. On top of that, like it puts more. I probably say what it is it takes the game from a team based direction and puts it more towards solo play, where each player gets more individual value rather than having to rely on teammates, because each player will have more impact now with or two less people in the game, right? Um,
Yeah,
so that I think will be more interesting because I've always played comp a lot. So I probably say it will become less team based, and that will really only apply to people who are playing games like with a 4 to 6 stack, right? But that's
hmm
not the majority of the population. The majority
no,
of
not at
people who
all.
play the game are. Oh, come on, man! Now an enemy way too fast there.
Yeah, before I remember a game I was playing Ryan as. No, I think I was playing. Might have been playing Zarya, and they would nano me like from me to Winston right now. And like the other team's at Winston, and I'm
Yeah.
just sitting here, and I'm like, we have no Lucy or anything either.
Yeah.
And they're like, go.
They need some boogie coaching, man. But yeah, in any case, I think overall it takes some of the team aspect out of the game, which I think is really good, especially for if the majority of people playing the game aren't playing it with team based in mind, right? Which is a lot of what ranked is.
Yeah,
And I think team play is like few and far between in ranked.
yeah. I'm very open to see what it's like.
Mhm.
I think something fresh. It
I think.
seems like there's gonna be a lot more natural cover in the maps. Is what I heard.
Oh, there's something we can. Oh yeah, yeah, and that's another thing that I found interesting was that like I heard of people talking about it, like content creators who are like, yeah, now you have to use cover and you have to use and stuff, and you have to go on flanks, and I'm like, and I'm sitting here, I'm going, this is what I've been telling people to do even now, like, so I so
Exactly, like
so I
always more.
yeah, you're supposed to always do it. It's just now you're kind of forced to do it, you're supposed to
Because
go
of
on
the
off,
lack of shoot.
yeah. You're supposed to go on off angles and flanks, and you're supposed to take cover. It's just now you're forced to do it, whereas before you weren't.
Yeah.
But in any case, actually, I heard that there's a mode to play all of someone made a mode in custom games where you can play the 5v5 with all of the changes that they added in, like
Oh
in
really?
customs. Yeah, I think that'd actually be fun to try out right now if like you wanted to go for that after this game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
I'll check to see if anybody's running it, but then if not, I might be able to find it somewhere.
Will.
All right, let me take a look to see if that's an option somewhere after I see if one of us gotta play a game.
I think it was gonna be the other Genji first point, probably. You have like
Yeah,
a 4 piece.
I don't think I had any massive plays because I was talking the entire time.
Play of the
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. All right, let me check. Overwatch 2 by Blame the Controller. Is that it? Okay, well let's try it out and guess. See if this is it. Oh, starting at random hero, you may switch. Okay, so it's 5 players. Let's see. I get. Oh, are you in the game? You're on the enemy team. Okay, we're on the opposite teams. Sounds good, man. I'll go a character to where I don't directly counter you, so that you're not crying. Let's see. I'll go soldier.
Please, love. The cavalry freezing.
We'll do that.
all soldiers now.
So yeah, they like basically custom put in like all the stuff that Overwatch is supposed to have.
In time.
Get over here and heal.
Sterbe nicht.
Which the issue is, this is just like a incomplete version because we don't have like all the balance changes that they're going to be making. So there's probably some really busted characters in here, and then some characters that don't really work well. Like I would imagine that Hog isn't gonna work super well until like on their team, Hog isn't gonna work well until they change him up. But I think that's cool. There were like, I saw like 6 different options or something like that for people running this, so looks like there's a lot of people trying it out.
Here they come. Audio medic. You're powered up. Get in
I've
there.
got you in my sights.
No, okay. I just got whole hogged into a corner. Interesting. Well, I mean, so far it doesn't
I
feel
don't
super
quit till
different.
the fight's done.
Oh shit, I was muted for a minute.
Oh
What did you say
yeah.
May's change was?
May's change was that she does not actually freeze people. She, like, they don't get frozen. She slows them down, and then it does more damage than it did before. Though I don't know if they gave damage numbers, so I don't know how accurate the damage numbers here are gonna be. Or at least I'm not aware if they gave damage numbers. Oh, you can I can actually make that jump. I didn't know I could make that jump. I definitely feel like I'm in there shooting more because there's not shields as of the moment to block me unless tanking. So I'm definitely able to get away with a lot more at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm on fire.
The question asked before when I was muted is, when you're playing DPS, who's the most annoying character 1v1? Because like, who do you play again? Like your top 3 for DPS?
Who do I play with? I'd probably say my favorite DPS is Pharah. But that's hard. So I think it's like Pharah, Hanzo, McCree, or something like that. Or like my top 3, and then probably like some of my favorite. I was a flex DPS, so I played like pretty much everything, and then like 4,000 hours in the game means that you get a lot of experience on everything. So
Yeah.
I can play a lot of different characters. So I'd probably say, like, if I were to list off like my like top picks, or the picks I play the most as well, probably go Pharah, Hanzo, Mei, are like the S tiers. I can do Echo. I need to take a look at a hero gallery real quick so I can actually see.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well, give me a moment. I'll go to a hero gallery just so I can take a, or I'm just gonna go to hero gallery so I can take a look at what stinking characters I actually play. But yeah, Alright, so yeah, I play Ashe. Ashe, like, medium, good at her. Bastion, not really. Doomfist, I played him a lot when I first started playing DPS, but I'm not really good at him currently. Echo's pretty good. Genji, pretty decent. Hanzo, yes, like one of my S tier characters. Junkrat, pretty good. Kind of like same tier as like Echo-ish. McCree, pretty good, but I also play him a lot, especially when he was really good. I think like really good character, like last meta. Mei, probably in S tier, though I don't have a. Probably say she isn't one of my fun characters to play, though I do play her a lot. Pharah S tier, and she's like my favorite character. Reaper
You said
doable.
Anna.
No, Pharah. Pharah is what I said.
Oh, far. Okay.
Reaper doable, not my favorite though. Soldier doable, Sombra doable, Symmetra doable, Torbjorn probably a little bit less than doable. Tracer pretty good. Widowmaker probably a little bit less than doable.
Okay.
Like probably say Doomfist, Bastion, Torb, and Widowmaker would be the characters where I'd be hesitant to pick them in competitive at my rank.
Okay.
Though, I mean, like, if I put practice time into them, I bet I could, I could probably get good at them. But here, let's leave this so I can actually so we can get back in the game. So, what was your question based off that?
when you're playing the main characters you play, who's like the most annoying to deal with?
Let me get us in a game real quick. Wait, what was the name of this one?
Traveling to Numbani.
Just my friends.
All right, so I got tank. Nice. Let's see. So Reinhardt has 120 shield. Did he have 120 1,200? No, yeah,
Did
I
they know
think he
you pick
did.
McCree? I'm not tripping.
That's cool. Do you know how to pick McCree?
Well, yeah, I know how to pick McCree. I'm just saying it's not an option.
Oh, I don't know.
Attackers incoming.
What's
I don't play any Hanzo.
Yeah. So in any case, what is the hardest character to duel? In my opinion, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it differs based off character. On Pharah, of course, it's probably going to be the hit scan characters are the most difficult, and then within hit scans, within characters, I'd probably say, or within hit scans, I'd probably say Widowmaker's most difficult, McCree second most difficult. Pretty much all the other hit scans are like Ashe and Soldier are much easier to deal with, because they have less burst on her. Yeah, so then but then they're also you can work around them as long as there's like not two of them. Hanzo, I'd probably say, Pharah and Echo are decently good against him because he can't kill them super easily. Wait. Oh, I have 2 Fire Strike. Wait, why can't I Fire Strike? Wait a moment. Why can't I Fire Strike over and over again? I'm confused. They totally messed that up. I might want to, like, we might want to swap modes here. They give me, like, 10 Fire Strikes, man. What the heck, man?
Are you serious?
Yeah. What did they?
Jeez.
What did they
Like the
name
Zarya
this
bubble.
mode?
I heard about that one. The Zarya change where she has a bank instead of ally.
Yeah, no. Well, Reiner has that too, where he should have 2. He gets 2 Fire Strikes, and it's a bank, right, where he holds 2 of them. But for some reason, they were letting me do like 10. All right, let's try this.
Welcome to Blizzard World.
All right. Oh, I'm on support, so let me swap to a damage. But yeah, in any case, yeah, Pharah is decently hard to go up against as a
I will protect the innocent.
as a Hanzo, and then Mei, same thing. Pharah is decently hard, and then Mei, it's also like spam compositions are kind of are harder to play up against. Start, I know, right? Please. All right. Classic.
Oh, one thing
custom
someone was telling me
games.
the other day is that what was it? That like the ranking system is bad in this game, or like just this game or whatever. There's like bad elo. I don't agree with that person. Like if you're supposedly like X amount of tiers away from like what you think you are, you should be able to like carry
Yeah.
a higher percentage of your games.
Yep.
Like you can be off in your SR by like a little bit, I guess, like sure, like 100, 200 SR, whatever. But like you're not like if you're in bronze, you're not a diamond.
Yeah. Exactly. The game's definitely puts you in your place, and it has a good way to do that. Now, there are some cases where there are some like lacking points. Like, I'd probably agree that like for people who first time place on off rolls probably get placed not in the best spots, and then if they don't play very frequently, they don't get placed in the best spots. Now, people who do frequently play off rolls, that's a little bit different, but not
Clearing the area.
that's probably why I say one of the weaker areas in the game with the rank system. And then besides that, let me see. Yeah, and then I mean placements don't really serve any purpose as of the moment.
Get you back in the get back.
And then besides that, yeah, I think it does a really good job with the most of everything else. All right, we might.
Yeah.
Do we want to join another game that starts?
Up to you.
Let's try joining another game.
Where are you from?
Oh, this is
If
the
you don't
same
mind me
one.
asking.
Yeah, I'm from
Welcome to
Pennsylvania,
Blizzard.
which is in the U.S., which you understand because you're
Enjoy
EST.
your event.
Yeah, I've been to there when I went down to Virginia before for snowboarding.
All right.
I'm a little north of you. I'm at Michigan. What's up?
All right. Hopefully this one starts. But yeah, in any case,
Now arriving at
you do
Lido
snowboarding?
Tower.
Yeah, I enjoy snowboarding. There's a good place in
Nice.
West Virginia that I go every year with my cousins.
That's cool. I have snowboarded. I wouldn't say that like it's a big hobby. I just did snowboarding like 2 months ago-ish, so that was pretty fun. But that was the first time in like 4 years that I had done it. So I have,
Jeez.
yeah, I have done it before, and I think it's pretty fun. Oh, I got shredded. Wait, why am I Baptiste? What am I doing? I'm gonna go tank. I'm gonna go monkey. I want to see what the what's up with the right click. Wait, they didn't give me a right click.
They didn't.
No, I don't have a right click, man. Why are none of these modes good? Like, you didn't make any of the changes. You just made it 5v5. Anybody can make it
You
5v5.
just took one tank out.
I wonder, did they put the roll passes in here?
I didn't know you could make that jump. Another cheeky thing I saw, I've never used it, was that you can like throw grab like right there on that
Yeah.
wall.
That
I
is
can only
true.
used it once in a scrim, just to stop from touching point without getting it eaten by a diva.
Oh, I almost rolled off. Oh, this game's not starting either. I guess they're waiting for people or something like that. Kind of want to find a game that has a better thing.
Like more accurate and actually starts.
Yeah. Okay, hopefully this is it.
Traveling to Eichenwald.
Let me know if you got in. Are you? Oh, whoops. Are you in yet, or did you not? Or are you
Spectating right
spectating?
now.
Oh, okay, that sucks. Well, the game mode started. Okay,
Let me see.
we gotta leave then.
Is it the changes?
Okay, hopefully this one's good.
Traveling to Nepal.
All right. Start as a random hero. Okay, so this. Oh, okay, and then everyone just left. But it's fine. We're starting. All good. Roadhog 2. You put bots in.
Is that what it is? Oh yeah, it is.
All right. Well, everyone left the game. This is going well.
I'm sure. Okay, so what would you say, like, I'm trying to think, how do you counter sim? Like a team who just like pockets their sim.
How do you counter sim?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
you
So
just
as
mirror.
a like one, like, are you asking as a team?
As a
How do
team.
you, as a team? Well,
As a team.
Farah's a really good pick against the Sim because she can't really do anything to touch a Farah, and Farah can just kind of spam her out very easily. You can run a spam against it if that's winning up against your brawl. You just outrange her. Then besides that, you can count. You can do the same thing back to her. I mean, it really, and then Sim, like, in and of itself, sometimes you don't even need a counter for a character. You can just play normally into it.
Okay. One thing that I lost like 2 games to because I've heard of the comp before, but I never really faced it or heard of how to like counter it was the hog and ball torture. It's basically just spread playing for picks. What comp would you run it as? So it's like a ball hog tracer.
Yeah, so you can do a counter dive, which is just basically running a spam, but running a lot more stuns with it. So you just run over stuns. You run McCree, Brig, maybe Orisa, Sigma. You just get a bunch of stuns, and then that can a bunch of CC, and then that can help deal with it. Nice, I got tank. Let me. Oh, nice. Hey Winston, try out your new secondary fire. How? How? What? I don't understand. I'm pressing right click. How am I supposed to? What do I do? Wait, is it not bound, the monkey?
Oh,
Let me go check.
actually
Let
would
me
be
go
a
check.
good point.
Oh, I didn't have it bound. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Maybe that was what was wrong in the other game too.
So like, yeah, they had it, just never found.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Okay,
that
so
makes
for
sense.
this first point, if they have like so they have spam, right? You want to push their hotel then, right? Instead of pushing around. If you have like a spam composition, like Spamish brawl, like
Yeah, so
if you're in a Ryan Sig.
if you're running a spam, then you want to take it wide, right? Whereas if you're running a brawl, you might want to go left. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured. I mean, you don't want to get stuck up with Ryan in there, or who's just going to get way more value than you are.
Yeah. So how they have the right click is it eats up 25 ammo, and then let's see, does it have a range on it, or can I just? Oh, it does not look like it has a range. Wait, does it? I can't tell. Can you stand still for a moment? No, it has a range. Okay. So it is more like.
Here, I'm going to let when you're right.
All right, so it
Yep,
did.
that
How
got
much
me.
damage? How much damage did that do? Like 50?
50. I think it did 50.
All right, so that's interesting.
How hard is it to hit?
It's just a straight line. So think of like
Is it like
Zarya.
lagged?
This is.
I think it's delayed. I mean, animation delayed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a projectile. It looks like kind of like a hit scan. Let's see. It's a hard time getting a read on that because it's also I'm firing it from too far away at the moment. Do damage, please. Okay, let's try it. It's just it's going straight through people right now. I feel like I should be hitting you here, but it's not hitting.
You did.
All right, okay. Okay, but it also has to charge up, so it does do less and less.
Kind of like a Zen charge up. I mean, not to that extent.
Not
but...
yeah, not that long. It's like it takes kind of like a second or a second and a half to charge up fully, and then it does 50 damage. Has maybe, if I were to guess, like 15 meters on the range, roughly. So it's just, it's something I'd probably say you're not gonna want to use it a ton, but it's something you use like in the in-between times where you have nothing else better to use.
Okay. You said for the hog ball tracer, you would just want to run like a ton of CC and then just like walk the point.
You can also run a you can run a brawl against it and just like kind of run at someone. You can run like kind of a counter dive against it. So I mean, I'd probably say the worst thing to run would just be a flat up spam because that would get eaten apart by it.
They're so spread.
Yeah. because they're so spread. I mean, and they just kind of just play circles around you. Hey, let's see. Can I?
Orion slept in it. Fine.
Payload secure. This will protect us.
Maybe
You
it's
think
like
they'd make smaller maps with the same
they said
like-
for the most part, I don't think they're making smaller maps or like too much smaller, because they said that like they did an AMA that I was just listening someone talk about with like content creators, and they said most of the maps are still work for 5v5. So like King's Row, for example, like the most that they would do to King's Row is maybe add in like one more telephone pole, right? And that's a direct quote from them. So most of the maps, I think that they're gonna have that of similar size. Yeah, okay, so this right click is gonna have some getting used to, but I definitely, the animation I think goes further than I think they need to fix the animation on this, because I think it goes further than it actually reaches. You can get away from me.
I see you started streaming too.
No. Did I start? Wait, start streaming on Twitch or?
Yeah, on Twitch.
Yeah,
At least you look like.
No, not.
Unless it was looking at the wrong person.
Yeah, no, I haven't streamed at all in a long while. So I mean, I did used to stream a ton back when I played the game super competitively. But
Yeah.
you know, honestly I didn't have a ton of fun doing it, and I wasn't very good at it. So not something I would probably get back into.
Yeah.
Interesting. I really need to get just used to the how this thing works, because I don't feel like I'm using it in very good situations.
Payload in transit. Barrier activated. Pardon me.
I find myself just forgetting that it exists, and then just using my left click a lot. Oh, there's also, that's weird. I can't go immediately.
Victory.
Someone wants to 1v1 me. Oh.
Play of the game.
Well, he's mad.
Oh my. Jeez. People get so angry about this game.
Yeah.
They're very upset.
I wish they'd
I think that would be
done
interesting.
for this just to see. You think what
I
would
mean,
be
that's like
interesting?
vital if they took that away.
Yeah.
No, but like his kit would be like a lot of his kit is around that stun though. Getting value out of that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that they would want to add something else to him if they did take that away, because, I mean, what character has one single ability, you know? That's just not really a part of how Overwatch works.
Now
Overwatch is,
Orion
you know,
down
hero
tower.
ability based, so they need to aid something. Oh, bubbles ×2.
Get in there.
Why
Wait, I
can't I
wanna see
use...
this.
Oh, wait. I can't... Is that how they used to... How they worked in the thing, too? You weren't able to... Were you not able to do both at the same time?
Strong.
What? You have to wait for the one bubble to end.
I've got you.
Yeah, you do.
Was that...
I mean, you wouldn't want to stack your bubbles though either, would you?
I mean, you definitely would want to in certain situations. Like, let's say they're both low, or let's say that there's a ton of damage coming in, or let's say...
Oh, I thought you meant stealth bubbles.
Oh, no. I
You
mean, you
bubble
can't...
two people at a time?
No, I can't bubble two. Like, I couldn't bubble two, like, I couldn't
Teammates.
put teammates at the time. Bubble... Okay, so I can bubble myself and another teammate at the same time. I just can't bubble one teammate and then another teammate instantly. That's
Okay,
weird.
so you'd have to like body block. Because I was thinking of the idea like, okay, I can like bubble two people in a grab, get like all my charge.
Yeah.
And save
But
them
that's-
ideally.
Exactly. So I don't know if that's some of these. I'm not sure if these are actually like fully exactly how they are, but I mean it's similar enough.
Yeah.
All right, so I can do a.
I'm actually a
fake-
huge fan of the bubbles though.
Don't worry, my friend. I have your back.
They add anything to Reinhardt?
I baited the Ana to fall off the map, man. I charged at her, and she got so scared she fell off the map away from me. All right, I want to see the curving in this. I don't think that they changed the curving at all. Wasn't that
That's
part of
actually
Reinhardt?
cool.
Join me if you
'Cause-
You mean like how tight he can turn
yeah,
and charge?
yeah. Didn't they have that, or did they get rid of that? I think they
I'm
had that.
not sure.
They had that at BlizzCon, but that didn't feel like I had any extra pin.
Let's see. So they did change Hog, didn't change Diva. I want to see this Winston.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Oh, nice, your enemy tank.
Oh, so you can like charge it up for different amounts of damage.
Heroes never die.
Okay, that's interesting. So it looks like you can't like you know how Zarya you can like even if you have one you can right click. You
Yeah,
can't
oh,
do
you
that
can't
with
do that.
Winston.
Yeah, because it's
Well,
more
you
like.
can, you just can't charge up as much. It's
Interesting.
like a
That might-
Zen.
Yeah, well, Zen you can. If you only have one bullet left, you can do the full charge.
Like all X amount
Yeah.
of balls or whatever. Really?
Yeah, so I would imagine maybe that's something that they, just to make that consistent, they might change it.
Did that hit you?
No, I don't know what the range particularly is. I might want to test that out, but no. Yeah, but it looks around 10 to 15 meters if I had to guess. I don't think that it does the full I don't think the animation is perfect, and I don't think it actually extends to the full animation that you see, which is trippy. Dude, the double fire strike is actually really interesting. That means like in a grav, I can basically kill 200.
You got nanoed?
Yeah. I mean, even
Yeah,
without a
should you
nano,
care?
I probably.
Yeah, that alternate fire on Winston is just weird.
Yeah.
Feels odd.
I think it feels really clunky, and I imagine that it felt better.
It'll be
in
cleaned up.
Yeah. I think honestly that one I would say is just the custom game.
Yeah, way to add it in.
Best
Yeah.
round, 1.
So it just feels really clunky and weird, and it doesn't feel good.
You think Zarya would be instantly, or like would move toward meta if she had the bubble update in Overwatch 1?
Yeah. That'd definitely be really OP. Like, I mean, any of these changes would be really OP in Overwatch 1. Like Reinhardt having 2 fire strikes, man. That. Let's see. I don't feel like I'm curving extra. Yeah, I don't think they added in the extra curving
Let me see.
because I'm not. Because I'm only curving like the normal amount. It looks like.
I want to test it out of spawn.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2.
Yeah. So besides that, on Reinhardt, all they changed was his shield health.
Maybe
And
actually,
Enemies coming.
it's not a lot if they did in this game mode.
Woo! Okay. Dude,
my.
fire strike's
You
kind
just
of.
double.
Yeah, those
It makes it more of like a not. You don't have to be up and in your face. I mean, you still for the most part to get real value, do, but like you can have a little more
Dude, I
value
guess
in range.
the double fire strike's so busted, man.
Wait, did you just double fire strike up that show?
Yeah. You had nowhere to run.
Like, what are you gonna do? That is actually, that's actually a lot of fun. Like Shatter, just crouch, double fire strike. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Shatter would last long
dude,
enough.
you're right. No. I bet it would.
I think the animation's just a little bit too long. I think they'd be getting up.
I don't know. I'm gonna test that. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, just let me know, and I'll just drop my shield because I kind of want to see it too. I'm getting close to it.
Oh yeah, I have it.
Alright,
Actually,
here. You got it.
yeah, it's right as you're
so
getting
you're
up.
just getting up. That's what I figured.
That's actually kind of busted, man, because you can kill a bunch of squishies like that. I mean, I still think that you'd get more value like when they're right next to you out of swinging, but these
Yeah.
you can get 3 swings in, which overall would be more damage, but not.
Like if it was a longer shatter, right? Where you're like going.
Oh. Oh.
Like just having that second fire strike is easy. Like, because I think you might have been just out of range for a swing. Like for those times that like,
Yeah.
if you don't have a Lucio, you can still finish off people instead of
Yeah.
just like running at them, feeding them charge, all charge.
I definitely 100% feel the extra solo impact coming in because I felt like I was doing more, not just on Reinhardt, but also like because I'm doing more on Reinhardt here, but I'm also doing. I feel like I'm doing more like on the DPS too when I was playing it. And it didn't feel like it was just because I'm technically playing at a lower level.
Yeah, just like intrinsic value.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like you're getting just more value on the character?
Yeah, I feel like I can like have more finishing power with faster characters, like Tracer. Like I was able to get her low with a swing and then fire strike her from a distance. I missed my first one, but
No.
yeah, the shield thing makes a lot of sense though, as what you're saying during like coaching time, because like that's a
Yeah.
big thing. I'm like I feel like I need higher damage than the other DPS, or I just lose every time because I have no
Yeah.
shield and I have to put more passive.
Exactly. Oh, these are all like 1 HP. Let me swing. Ah! No.
Help me.
Oh, that's actually so much stinking fun, man.
You know, I'm a big fan of the double fire strike. Again, it like feels like it gives him range. Oh, window double fire strike.
Oh, that's kind of
Hi.
busted, man.
I feel like I actually have the ability to like finish people off with in some capacity.
Behind you. Enemy contact.
Oh, that was a very bad charge, and I kind of threw. Owie. Oh, massive mercy. No, never mind, not massive mercy.
Okay, that's the other thing too. Like, so I'm going for a school team, right? Um, and I'm debating with like, because I do play Zarya and Ryan. I don't really play like I play Sigma as well, and like those are my 3. So like, I don't know if I want to go like main or flex. Like I've climbed with Ryan just off of like, talking like calming basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So-
I
so you're
like don't
just-
play any Winston.
So you're confused on whether or not to go for main tank or off tank.
Main or flex, yeah.
So I mean, it really depends on like which role you'd be like more willing to put more time into. Because like if right now, you know, there's nothing wrong with knowing both Reinhardt and Zarya, but I mean, if they're wanting you to play one or the other, you'd go with whichever role you're gonna be on the. You know, you'd be willing to play more characters, right? Like if you're gonna go for the main tank, your team would probably want you to learn Winston or Orisa or
Orisa.
Sigma, right? And those would be the characters they want you on. But whereas if you go off tank, they'd want you on a Diva. They'd want you to learn Diva
Zarya.
and Zarya. Oh, sorry, Ball would be going into main tank as well, right? They'd want you to
Yeah.
learn Diva, Zarya, Sigma, Roadhog, and then maybe Ball. And those would be like the characters that they'd want you to try out.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2.
There's nothing specific because at the first set of tryouts, we had 2 top 500 flex supports. But I felt bad because there were like 5 other people trying out for support. I just
Wow, how big of a school do you have that you have like two top 500s on it already?
We're a D1 school. We had the number like we had a top 10 Smash team.
Wow, seems like a big esports school then.
Yeah, we were the first in Michigan to bring esports in.
Oh, is this are you what?
Oakland University.
What?
Oakland University.
Oh, no, I haven't heard of it. I'm thinking of a.
Shield taken down.
Does it? What's the abbreviation for it?
OU probably.
Oh, you? Oh, no. I was thinking maybe like, cause I've played against some like I've played against teams in. Oh, I'm low. Sorry, I played against like like tier 3 and contenders, like
Hmm.
college teams. So I was just wondering if there's any teams that I knew.
I definitely see the shield value though when I was watching through that. Like I just didn't realize that though. Like I was thinking it's like, oh yeah, like I gotta make sure my team doesn't die. Now does the rule change if they have a Hanzo spamming since that is like a one shot and one shot could dictate like death versus like
It
life?
could, but it really depends on the situation. I would say, like, if you
Okay.
feel like, if it's just like, basically like if you feel like the shots are, oh, sorry, hello. Because you don't want to shoot like block every single Hanzo shot ever, right? Because then it's up
No.
way too much, right? It's really like the shots that you feel like could end up killing your
Like if we're
teammates,
going on
right?
a tight choke, yes, but like if
Yeah.
we're just sitting back like way
Yeah.
far back, then it's not worth.
Mm. All right. Your team's feeding, man. Might want to back up.
Yeah.
Let the dragon consume you.
I'm like right here, we're sitting outside of a choke. Just don't peek.
Oh, double fire strike, man. I'm scared. Oh, you got one. Oh no!
Do you get trapped?
No, no, no. I
Or is
just
that
got
your team trapped?
melted. Oh, I don't think I got trapped. I just got. Oh, I did get trapped.
No, that was
I
no, that
got.
was your team's.
I just got shredded, which was to be expected. I tried to go for the just as a tip, if you know, just getting into the new Reinhardt.
Mhm.
There's a whole mind games thing around going for a cancel charge into people, right? Because you can charge in on top of them, and then what are they, like they have to, right? They have to try to counter charge you, but then you can just shatter into it. And not fair. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't talking.
I saw the other thing where you're like, where you look like this, right? Where you kind of like, I mean, you don't poke
Yeah.
your shield through, obviously, and then you shatter here.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
This also ups. Oh, dude, this ups his spam dramatically now as well. That means that Reinhardt's gonna be
Oh
getting
yeah.
his ult much faster, and like, they're almost certainly gonna have to nerf his ult charge, to be honest.
Yeah,
Just
because he
because.
gets his ult so quickly. Like Brawl v
Yeah.
Brawl, like, yeah, I love running Ryan Brawl v Brawl.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like he also is gonna. He already. Like Fire Strike was already one of the best ways to charge his ult, but now he has two of them. You know.
Yeah.
It's one. Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Do you think, okay, do you want it to be free to play or no? In your
Um,
opinion. And then do you think they're going to do free to play?
So the only argument against a free-to-play system that I've heard that's decent is just that you're going to lose out on like free cosmetics, which I'm not one to care about cosmetics. I'd much prefer a better, healthier game than just to have free cosmetics. And therefore, I think that free-to-play comes with a lot of benefits that would really help the game just improve. So basically, free-to-play means more of a player base, which means more people to buy your stuff, and then therefore, like
More
for
money
example, your cosmetics, and therefore more money, right? Like
as
ultimately,
a business.
free-to-play is just it's a business, right? Like it means more money, which means that you have more money for development, right? When you have, and that means that there's faster development as well, right? Sorry,
Wait, did I get stunned longer than that?
um,
Or is that just the fact that I'm running off a hotspot right now?
no, I think you like you were just stunned long enough from the charge that I was able to sneak in a shatter, which I think is another thing you can do.
Really? I did not know that.
Mhm. So yeah, in any case, like free to play basically means more money, and then because more money, that means higher development. That means faster and hopefully higher quality updates, right? That doesn't always translate, but it definitely can. It means that they were gonna have more of a community, which means like faster queue times, right? That it
Hmm.
means more content creation because now there's more people attracted to the game, right? Obviously, like it's overall, I think most people would agree that the more people play a game, the healthier the game is, right? The game's dying when it loses its player base. So therefore, if
Yeah.
you're getting more people playing the game, it's overall going to be better, because now there's more people to test, there's more people for money, there's
Mhm.
Yep. So overall, I think that's a positive, and most negatives that I've heard are easily explained away, or it's just like, okay, what do I care about cosmetics, man?
Yeah, like it's like if
And
you
then,
really like something, go
yep,
for it, but it's not
mm,
needed.
yep.
Okay, that's a lot of fun.
Mhm. All right. They cannot play the game.
It is almost 8, just to let you know.
Yeah, I got that. I mean, I'd be down to just finish this game. I don't think that I currently have friends online, which is, I mean, would I be just be going to? I also have to eat dinner, don't I? So just thinking out my schedule here. Let's see. When do I'll play some Widowmaker. Let's see how fun that is when there's no shields for me. Oh, but then there's a monkey. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, you know, we'll see. Okay, they're not starting the game, so maybe we just chill here in the scrim for
Yeah.
another 3 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up, get the next session scheduled.
Hmm. Any okay, counter Bastion.
Anything to counter Bastion?
I mean, I know what, like the gist of it is. Like, what's an easy way of trying to coordinate people to do that? Because like I feel like in itself it's not too difficult. Like trying to get people on the same page to do it
Yeah.
is the more
So,
difficult part.
I mean, communication is always something that you're going to like. It's really something that is going to be an option, but not you can't rely on it as that's not something that everyone's going to be listening to. So overall, I probably say like really easy character picks. I mean, like if you're looking for character picks, like DPS wise, Pharah's good counter. You want pretty much really spammy characters work well against Bastion. So Pharah, Hanzo, Junkrat. I come here. Sorry.
Good.
Oh, these guys are just sitting around. What are you doing then? Yeah.
Yeah,
In
dude.
any case, besides that, like, it really, I guess, what can you be slightly more specific in what you're looking for? Like, how can you counter Bastion?
Okay, so like obviously Hog, if he's playing like
Yeah.
on card, like if they're doing like a what's it called, fire ship, like you can just Hog off angle hook, right?
Yep. That's definitely an
But
option. You can dive it. You can just brawl and just run into it.
speed,
Honestly, like when it comes to characters, it's more about learning how to play up against them and around them, rather than there being like a certain pick that you can pick. A lot of the time, there's not going to be like one character that directly counters his character, or even like the one thing that does happen
I'll be
sometimes is
watching over you.
a composition counters a character, but Bastion, I don't know if I would say that there's particularly a comp that counters him. I'd probably say the worst comp against it's really hard, man.
like a lower damage spam, probably.
Yeah, it's hard to say because there's a sorry about that background noise.
You're good.
Yeah, there's really it's hard to say because I think you could pretty much run any three of the comps. Like you can run a brawl and run at him. If you execute it well, you can run a dive and get on top of him if you execute it well. I'll probably say dive would work the least effectively, as it has to be played with a lot of communication
Coordination.
and coordination. I'd probably say brawl then is therefore the second, the second least, because again it requires a little bit of coordination of like we're engaging now, and then finally spam I'd probably say would be the most effective, but you're going to play the spam almost as like a hybrid where you're playing it like just deathmatchy where you're all spread out doing your own thing rather than grouped up.
Like kind of like Hog and Ball.
Yeah, exactly. Like where
Like
you're
Hog
all
and Ball
kind of
comp.
doing, yeah. So you're gonna play the spam almost as if you're all doing your own thing, to basically because you're trying to surround the Bastion. You're trying to get takeoff angles against him. You're trying to get around them. So I'd probably say that's like probably going to be the most effective option because that also takes the least amount of coordination as well. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple of characters that are good against him, but then there's also just, yeah, Bastion's
Like
a
anything
weird
run
one.
well. Yeah, because people complain about it, but like it's not like if you're coordinated, right? You can play against it. A lot of time people just freak out and then just try to solo him.
Yeah. Mhm.
At least
It's
at
definitely
like
it's definitely
lower
not a
ranks.
problem at high ranks for Bastions. Bastions are very
No.
rarely played at high ranks, just because he's not very good and people know how to deal with him a lot better.
Mhm.
All right. Why do we never got matched on the same team?
Which is really odd. Besides like the first time.
Oh,
That was you. I was wondering who you
yeah.
were playing. I thought you were playing the Reaper, and I'm like, why is he like?
Nope.
And I was confused. Like, why is he doing what he's doing? This doesn't make any sense from like when I was watching you beforehand.
Cycle begins anew.
No, man, I'm actually just a bronze player, but I pretend to coach people.
Exactly. You don't actually know, obviously. No.
Sniper, be careful.
Oh, come on.
Trying to think. I definitely would like to, because they're gonna need to change a lot of balance things. Like because there's a lot of things. Because I think at the moment, hit scan characters are
Yeah, are gonna be
are
huge. That's what I was
semi
gonna say.
busted at the moment. Like hit scan characters are just really
There's
good.
nothing to block it,
Because
right?
exactly,
Like,
because there's no shield. So that I think there's definitely gonna need to and they even said themselves, like the developer team like was like, yeah, we're going to be reworking a lot of characters and like just changing a lot of characters with how they work. So yeah, we'll see. And then on top of that, they were like, you know, because there's less damage, healing numbers are kind of through the roof right now, and there's like what the people are calling like heal creep, where like just healing has gotten a little too much, which is going to be hard to just directly counter just by you know, it's gonna be really hard to just nerf the damage. So I mean, we'll see, because then that makes supports feel unfun to play, right? If you're not doing any healing at all.
yeah.
So you know, I think it'll be interesting to see how they're approaching it. But I am definitely liking the change at the moment. Feels clean.
Yeah. I'm gonna say people are like again, the popular thing is to give it a bad rep right now, but I'm excited to see where it goes. If you're still playing Overwatch, you obviously like something they're doing. So
Say that again?
for the people who like are playing Overwatch and like somewhat complaining about it, I'm like, well, you're still playing this game, so like
Yeah.
you think what they do is good enough that you'll spend X amount of time on it.
I require heat.
No.
How do you get up there?
I tranced over and jumped over.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second.
Pain is an excellent teacher.
Alright.
Come on, let's bring it together.
Well, I guess there's 1 minute left. If probably leave after that. Minute's up, whether we
Yeah.
cap or don't here.
Yeah, time to heal up.
60 seconds remaining.
But yeah, I
Well.
mean, when it comes to people like talking against it, like even like I think one of the biggest complaints people are making is just that you're deleting off tanks, which first off isn't really true, because they're more like they're not. It's not going to be just main tanks. They're more like they're redefining the entire role, and they even said themselves that they're thinking of not calling them tanks anymore, and instead swapping the role to brawlers. And like that's what they would name it, because it's less that they're getting rid of off tanks, or less that they're getting rid of main tanks. It's more that they're just reworking both of them to work within a different play style, where they're both in the middle, where they're both making the space while also doing the damage, right? So it's kind of it's as if you mixed both of them together, and then that's kind of the direction in which they're moving. And you just can't currently see it with any of the off tanks because they haven't adjusted in many of the off tanks. But I mean, you can see it more in Zarya, like whereas I mean Zarya's the one tank that they did adjust, right? But you can see it in Zarya where like now she has more bubbles, which means she has more tanking, which means that she has more damage, right? Because she is constantly full energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then on top of that, you have. I think that if anything, it makes like tanking more competitive, because right now tanking, like if you think about like the player base behind tanking probably has like a third of the players that DPS has, right? And then that means that therefore DPS, like to get into something like Overwatch League, has like 3 times the competition level, right? So it's 3 times easier therefore to get into Overwatch League as a tank, right? Not to diss any of the tank players in Overwatch League, but it's just flat up easier than trying to get in as a DPS, right? And then
I saw
therefore
the
if they,
unintentional button.
yeah, it's unintentional about it. So whereas if they get rid of one of them, well, now you've just made it, you've closed the gap to where now it's much more competitive to based off of the player population.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think I'm gonna head out now. So
So am I. Gotta eat.
yeah, would you like to schedule your next session now?